Mr. Vice President, you want to talk about issues, but a lot of people want to talk about your gaffes. You have called yourself a gaffe machine, okay?
Joe Biden once called himself a blunder machine. Well, it seems his blunders are becoming laughed at all over the world. From slips and falls to career-ending controversies, join us as we explore why Biden is being laughed at in front of the entire world. Why the world laughed at Biden. As a politician, Joe Biden has to speak a lot, so most of his blunders are speech-related. Let's start with what he said about the G7 summit that took place in 2021. He not only claimed to have encountered François Mitterrand, who passed away in 1996, but also confused the countries of France and Germany. Adding to the confusion, Biden seemingly lost his train of thought mid-sentence, showing a momentary lapse in coherence.
I was in the south of England, and I sat down and I said, "America's back." And Mitterrand from France looked at me and said, you know, how long are you back for?
On February 4th, 2024, he recounted an interaction with a blend of amusement and bewilderment, stating that America's back and that Mitterrand was from Germany, which he quickly corrected to say from France. He continued saying Mitterrand looked at him and asked how long he was back for. He was obviously speaking to the French President Emmanuel Macron, but he blundered the recall and called him François Mitterrand. This no doubt made many people laugh at him, especially in France. That won't be the only time Biden would commit a blunder over the name of a head of state. During a recollection on February 7th, 2024, Joe Biden recounted a conversation with the late former German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, revealing an inadvertent chronological mismatch. Biden asserted that Kohl queried him about the U.S. Capitol riot of 2021, despite Kohl's passing in 2017. Reflecting on the exchange, Biden shared Kohl's hypothetical scenario, in which Kohl asked what he would say if he picked up the London Times and learned that 1,000 people had broken down the doors of the British Parliament, killed some police on the way in, to deny the Prime Minister to take office. This anecdote only served to draw more laughter from the international community, but this time particularly from Germany. During his memorable 3-day visit to Ireland in April 2023, U.S. President Joe Biden, known for his occasional verbal slip-ups, delivered a moment that left many Irish citizens amused and entertained. Speaking at the Windsor pub in Dundalk, Biden inadvertently mixed up his references, confusing New Zealand's revered All Blacks rugby team with the infamous Black and Tans, the British paramilitary unit from the early 20th century. In the lighthearted exchange, Biden showcased a tie adorned with a shamrock, gifted by the esteemed rugby player Rob Kearney, whom he commended as a hell of a rugby player and humorously credited with beating the hell out of the Black and Tans. The term Black and Tans evokes the memory of a British paramilitary unit formed in 1920 to suppress the Irish Republican Army, or IRA. Often clad in a mishmash of police and military attire due to uniform shortages, they gained notoriety for their brutality, including extrajudicial killings and harassment of civilians, documented by the Irish Times. Contrastingly, the nickname All Blacks for New Zealand's rugby team stems from their iconic all-black uniform, as detailed by the New Zealand Rugby Museum. Joe Biden's unintentional conflation of these vastly different entities sparked humorous reactions on Irish X. After returning from his trip to Ireland, Biden attended the Emily's List Gala on May 16, 2023. Joe Biden graced the stage to honor former Democrat House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In a lighthearted moment, Biden playfully acknowledged Pelosi's influence, jesting that if people hadn't noticed, he would do whatever she told him to. This elicited some laughter, but the real comedy ensued when reflecting on Pelosi's leadership. Biden praised her unwavering assurance in securing votes, attributing her to the passage of transformative legislation, including crucial economic measures. However, a slip of the tongue led Biden to mistakenly place Pelosi's role as though it was during the Great Depression, intending to highlight her contributions during the 2008 recession. This had people laughing with tears in their eyes because it obviously played on both Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden's age. Joe Biden wanted to outdo himself later in the year when he had 2 blunders back-to-back within the space of 24 hours. During an impromptu exchange with reporters on June 28, 2023, U.S. President Joe Biden inadvertently misspoke, attributing Russian President Vladimir Putin's challenges to the war in Iraq instead of Ukraine.
To what extent has Vladimir Putin been weakened by recent events? It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home.
He remarked that Putin was clearly losing the war in Iraq and that he was losing the war at home, having become a bit of a pariah around the world. Biden was trying to emphasize the widespread condemnation of Putin's actions, extending beyond traditional allies to include a diverse coalition of nations. While he might have missed that he said Iraq instead of Ukraine, lots of people didn't and laughed at the blunder. This was a sequence of verbal miscues, being his second slip-up in 24 hours. During a campaign fundraising event earlier, he had inadvertently referenced China instead of India, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi had recently visited the White House. Biden humorously corrected himself, acknowledging the slip. He said that people probably saw his new best friend, the Prime Minister of China. He immediately corrected himself and said it was India, not China. These slip-ups are not uncommon for the 80-year-old president.
We stand with you. Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people.
It seems Joe Biden is fond of calling Ukraine by a different country's name. During his State of the Union address in 2022, President Joe Biden inadvertently referred to Iranian people instead of Ukrainians, a moment that swiftly circulated on social media, amassing over 1 million views. Clips of the incident, accompanied by reactions from those in attendance, garnered widespread attention. In one of the clips, Vice President Kamala Harris seemed to silently mouth Ukrainian following Biden's slip, adding a memorable visual element to the mishap. On social media platforms, reactions to the president's mistake were numerous, both those who felt it was humorous and those more critical. In his speech, he was addressing Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine and the resilient response of its people. President Joe Biden was affirming the global alignment with democracy when that slip of the tongue inadvertently replaced Ukrainian with Iranian, sparking a wave of mockery on social media.
Representative Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this a reality.
Another slip-up that seems to dog the president is calling on people who are dead. During his address at the White House Conference on Hunger, Nutrition, and Health in 2022, President Joe Biden inadvertently inquired about the late Ripper Jackie Walorski's presence, who tragically passed away in a car accident in August. Biden, while expressing gratitude to attendees for their efforts in combating hunger, momentarily sought out Walorski, acknowledging her significant contributions. But Biden had sent commiserations to Walorski's family after her tragic passing, so it was a bit funny he was asking for her presence at the conference.
And by the way, if they do, that means, not a joke, everybody, that's why we were defeated in 2018 when they tried to do it. We went to 54 states.
Joe Biden continued his blunder-making in the year 2022 with his speech at the Pennsylvania Democratic Party reception preceding the midterm elections. President Joe Biden reflected on his efforts to defend Obamacare, asserting he campaigned across 54 states in 2018. But because there are only 50 states in the U.S., Biden's statement sounded very humorous. Following the widespread sharing of the speech video on social media platforms, President Joe Biden faced ridicule and mockery online due to the blunder. The incident sparked a flurry of humorous comments and memes across various social media channels, with users poking fun at the numerical slip-up. Biden's inadvertent error became fodder for internet humor, further amplified by the viral nature of online content sharing.
I'm going to repeat. We're going to make it easier than ever to get vaccinated. Visit vaccines.gov. Vaccines.gov.
Sometimes Biden's blunders are not always about substituting names or remembering dead people. Sometimes it's plain old mispronunciation. In a speech addressing vaccine distribution, President Joe Biden inadvertently referred to the vaccination website as vaccine.gum instead of the correct vaccine.gov. He encouraged Americans to seek guidance from the CCD, likely intending to mention the CDC. Despite the slip, Biden repeated the incorrect URL, attempting to correct his mistake. Social media platforms like X quickly responded with humor, joking about the existence of vaccine gum. Users quipped about the prospect of flavored vaccine gum, showcasing the internet's ability to find levity at the expense of Biden's blunders.
Well, President Harris led this effort.
Biden has also had incidences of just missing parts of words or sentences. In this example, it was at the 2021 fall commencement ceremony at South Carolina State University. President Joe Biden inadvertently referred to Vice President Kamala Harris as President Harris in a verbal slip-up. Biden, acknowledging Harris's alma mater, Howard University, humorously mentioned her potential opinion on Delaware State University. This isn't the first instance of Biden mistakenly addressing Harris as president. It marks at least the third occurrence. The video clip quickly gained traction online, with President Harris trending on X. The falls of Joe Biden. Following a stumble and fall at a Colorado event, President Joe Biden emerged unscathed, according to White House officials. While distributing diplomas at the U.S. Air Force Academy's graduation ceremony, Biden tripped over a sandbag. Despite being the nation's oldest serving president at 80, he received prompt assistance to regain his footing and displayed no signs of injury. The incident, though momentarily concerning, ended without any harm to Biden. As President Biden concluded by shaking hands with over 900 graduates, he began to gesture as if preparing to jog back to his seat. However, a momentary stumble caused him to fall on stage. The 80-year-old president was swiftly assisted by 2 Secret Service agents and an Air Force official. Upon regaining his footing, Biden gestured towards something on stage that may have caused his stumble. Upon returning to the White House, President Biden lightened the mood by quipping that he got sandbagged in response to reporters' inquiries about his well-being. While he didn't elaborate further, Biden sought to reassure everyone of his condition, demonstrating a sprightly demeanor by engaging in some footwork for the press before heading indoors. This jovial interaction with the media showcased Biden's ability to maintain levity in the face of minor mishaps of his various blunders. In another recent viral video circulating on social media, captured a moment of near trip for U.S. President Joe Biden as he ascended the stairs of his Air Force One aircraft. This incident provided fresh fodder for his mockers, who continued to picture him as a decrepit old man. The video, which gained widespread attention, depicts Biden navigating the stairs of Air Force One at Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland. The commander-in-chief had just paid tribute to U.S. military members with a salute at the base of the stairway before commencing his ascent. Despite taking cautious, measured steps to mitigate any mishaps, the unfortunate moment transpired. However, with quick reflexes, President Biden swiftly grasped the railing and regained his footing. Despite his swift recovery, Tuesday's widely circulated video further fueled ongoing mockery regarding Biden's mental acuity and physical endurance. Following President Biden's near tumble, social media platforms buzzed with rapid-fire reactions, showcasing a spectrum of mockeries and criticisms. One ex-post quipped that Biden almost trips twice as he boards Air Force One, despite using the short stairs to avoid tripping. Another commenter humorously remarked that a Secret Service agent is placed at the bottom of the stairs whenever Biden boards or disembarks to prevent this very scenario from happening. Further went on to call Biden Methuselah. Methuselah is the oldest man in the Bible, probably a reference to Biden being the oldest president the U.S. has ever had. Amidst the chatter, one curious observer pondered about what comes after the short stairs. Would Biden be strapped onto a stretcher and carried on board? Another observer mockingly noted that it did look a little windy. In a snarky aside, yet another ex-user commented that there was lots of vigor on display there. Throughout recent years, President Biden has encountered near falls on numerous occasions while navigating stairs. Consequently, his team adopted a precautionary measure last year by employing shorter stairs to facilitate his entry into Air Force One. Biden's penchant for pratfalls goes beyond stages and stairs. In what quickly turned into another moment to laugh at the aging president, President Joe Biden experienced a mishap while cycling near his Delaware Beach residence. The incident, which happened in June 2022, occurred shortly after he greeted reporters with a warm good morning. The president was concluding a bike ride with First Lady Dr. Jill Biden near Rehoboth Beach, where they were commemorating their 45th wedding anniversary. Despite the minor setback, the Bidens continued to enjoy their leisurely outing, but it was accompanied by laughter from the onlookers. As President Joe Biden, accompanied by Secret Service agents, navigated a turn during the bike ride, he paused to acknowledge a crowd extending Father's Day wishes. However, his sudden halt led to the unexpected topple. First Lady Dr. Jill Biden had already negotiated the turn, unaware of her husband's tumble. Biden's fall occurred as he struggled to release his bike shoes from the toe cages on the pedals. Despite the incident, the president assured onlookers of his well-being, affirming that he was good. When questioned about the cause, Biden attributed the fall to the toe cages getting caught. This reason didn't stop people from laughing, though. Controversies involving Biden. To be fair, not all the controversies and laughable events surrounding President Joe Biden are directly of his own making. Some of them are from other situations in which he is closely associated. Take, for instance, his son, Hunter Biden. The challenges confronting Hunter Biden, President Joe Biden's sole surviving son, continue to mount with no resolution in sight. Initially poised to settle tax and gun charges in July, the 53-year-old faced a setback when the plea agreement collapsed in court. Subsequently, he was indicted on the gun charges by the federal federal inquiry's lead investigator. In December, a second indictment accused him of evading over $1.4 million in federal taxes for tax years 2016 through 2019. Congressional Republicans have used the opportunity to initiate an impeachment inquiry against President Biden, citing allegations of influence peddling involving his son. Amidst these legal and political pressures, Hunter's personal struggles, including substance abuse and relationship turmoil, have gained widespread attention. Born in Wilmington, Delaware, in 1970, Hunter Biden inherited his mother Nelia's maiden name as his first name. Tragedy struck the family when, at just 2 years old in December 1972, their lives changed forever. A devastating accident mere weeks after his father's U.S. Senate election claimed the lives of his mother and baby sister Naomi. Hunter suffered a fractured skull, while his older brother Beau sustained a broken leg. Remarkably, their father, Joe Biden, who wasn't in the car during the accident, took his oath of office by their hospital bedside. Hunter later pursued higher education at Georgetown University and Yale Law School, graduating in 1996. During this period, he dedicated himself to serving marginalized communities by joining the Jesuit Volunteer Corps. During his time at Georgetown University, Hunter Biden crossed paths with Kathleen Buell, a fellow lawyer, whom he married in 1993. Their union bore 3 children, Naomi, Finnegan, and Maisie. However, the couple parted ways in 2017. Despite his father's abstinence from alcohol, Hunter grappled with addiction from a young age. He began drinking as a teenager and later admitted to cocaine abuse during his college years, resulting in multiple stints in rehabilitation facilities. In 2013, he enlisted in the U.S. Navy Reserves, with his father, then vice president, officiating his swearing-in at the White House. However, his military career was short-lived as he tested positive for cocaine on his inaugural day, leading to his discharge and subsequent public admission of embarrassment. As per The New Yorker, Hunter Biden coped with the loss of his beloved brother Beau in 2015 by resorting to excessive drinking, at times isolating himself to purchase vodka. Their profound bond was evident, as Hunter's daughter Naomi once tweeted, describing them as inseparable in heart, soul, and mind. During a messy divorce, Kathleen Buell accused Hunter of lavish spending on vices like drugs, alcohol, and relationships with women, leaving the family financially strained. In an interview last year, Buell revealed Hunter's devastating struggle with drug addiction, which ultimately led to their separation. In his memoir, Beautiful Things, published in 2021, Hunter candidly acknowledges his infidelity as a contributing factor to their marriage's demise. He also addressed his paternity issue with London Alexis Roberts, an exotic dancer, settling a paternity suit and providing child support, although he claimed no memory of their encounter. Following his graduation from Yale, Hunter Biden embarked on a career at MBNA America, a banking powerhouse based in Delaware, later acquired by Bank of America. Joe Biden's intimate relationship with MBNA, a major employer in Delaware and a significant contributor to his political endeavors, led to his nickname, the Senator from MBNA. Concurrently, as Hunter ascended to the role of executive vice president, Joe championed bankruptcy reform legislation beneficial to MBNA's interests. In the early 2000s, while still affiliated with MBNA, Hunter delved into Washington lobbying, attracting clients whose interests aligned with his father's legislative agenda and committee assignments. According to Hunter Biden's account, there was a tacit understanding between him and his father not to discuss lobbying activities, a stance President Biden maintains regarding recent allegations. In 2006, amid Senator Biden's impending chairmanship of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Hunter and a relative ventured into an ill-fated purchase of a hedge fund group, Paradigm Global Advisors. This investment coincided with Joe Biden's 2008 presidential bid and subsequent vice presidency under Barack Obama. Despite the fund's association with individuals later implicated in fraud, the Bidens denied culpability and faced no charges. In 2010, they liquidated the fund, reimbursing investors. Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings during his father's vice presidency have sparked considerable scrutiny. In 2013, he assumed a founding board position at BHR, a Chinese private equity firm, initially unpaid, later acquiring a 10% equity stake. Coincidentally, BHR's registration in Shanghai followed Hunter's official trip to China with his father, where they briefly met BHR's CEO. Post-vice presidency, Hunter collaborated with Chinese oil magnate Ye Jianming on a Louisiana natural gas venture. However, the partnership soured when Yeh faced corruption allegations and disappeared after being detained by Chinese authorities. Hunter Biden's involvement in Ukraine has ignited further controversy, especially considering his father's role as the Obama administration's lead on U.S.-Ukraine relations. In 2014, Hunter joined the board of Burisma Holdings, a Ukrainian energy company, earning up to $1.2 million annually. Concurrently, Vice President Biden spearheaded an anti-corruption campaign, advocating for the removal of Ukraine's top prosecutor, Viktor Shokin. Shokin's dismissal in 2016 raised suspicions, with critics alleging it was to thwart investigations into Burisma. Republicans have even asserted that both Joe and Hunter Biden received $5 million from Burisma executives in exchange for Shokin's termination. Testimony from Hunter's former business associate further suggested Joe's involvement in Hunter's dealings. These accusations have fueled political turmoil, fueling ongoing inquiries into President Biden. The discovery of a laptop left by Hunter at a Delaware repair shop, along with its controversial contents, became a focal point of the 2020 presidential race. Initially dismissed by the Biden camp as a smear campaign orchestrated by Russian disinformation, the laptop has since been authenticated by U.S. media and seized by the FBI. Analysis of its contents unveiled Hunter's lucrative engagements in China and Ukraine, alongside evidence of his tumultuous personal life marked by substance abuse. As President Biden gears up for re-election, the lingering fallout from his son's legal entanglements and scandal-ridden lifestyle poses an unwanted challenge. Let's turn to another Biden family member with a very public problem. Major, a beloved member of the Biden family, was rescued from a litter exposed to a harmful substance in their previous home. Due to financial constraints, their owner couldn't afford veterinary care, leading Major to the shelter. The Bidens fostered him from the Delaware Humane Association in late 2018 and subsequently adopted him. During the adoption, Joe Biden shared stories and took selfies with shelter staff, reflecting his affection for Major. While the origin of Major's name remains undisclosed, it's speculated that it could be a tribute to Beau Biden, Joe Biden's late son, who served as a major in the Delaware National Guard. On November 28, 2020, then-President-elect Biden sustained a foot fracture during a playful interaction with Major. Recounting the incident in an interview, Biden humorously described Major eagerly awaiting playtime as he emerged from a shower. Later, Major and Champ, Biden's beloved German shepherds, were temporarily relocated to live with a family friend in Delaware following a minor incident where Major nipped a security guard. Major had exhibited agitated behavior previously, including jumping, barking, and charging at staff and security personnel. Although Joe Biden clarified in an interview that the bite did not break the skin, it prompted the decision for Major to undergo additional training. After completing the training, which included preparation for cohabiting with a new cat adopted by the Bidens, Major, and Champ, returned to the White House on March 24th. However, on March 30th, Major was involved in a second biting incident, this time with a National Park Service employee during a walk. In December 2021, as the Bidens welcomed a new puppy commander to the White House, it was revealed that Major would no longer reside there. Experts advised that Major's well-being would be better served in a calmer setting with family and friends. However, the introduction of Commander was not without challenges, as he also displayed biting issues. Commander was involved in approximately 24 such incidents before being relocated from the White House premises. Not too long ago, Uncle Joe Biden wasn't just a term of endearment, it was a symbol of warmth and approachability. It was noted in 2014 that Biden's image had transitioned from a wise elder to that of a laid-back uncle figure. A publication echoed this sentiment 2 years later, dubbing him America's honorary cool uncle. The Onion, known for its satire, immortalized Uncle Joe with numerous comedic sketches, depicting him in various casual scenarios, from sporting a bomber jacket to cleaning up a messy White House. These portrayals captured the essence of Biden's relatable and down-to-earth persona, resonating with audiences across the nation. The transition from the cool uncle to the creepy uncle persona for Joe Biden seems almost abrupt. The catalyst behind this transformation is clear: allegations of unwanted touching. Lucy Flores accused him of kissing the back of her head in 2014, while Amy Lapos recounted an incident in 2009 where Biden allegedly pulled her in to rub noses. These accusations, surfacing during the #MeToo movement, triggered a reassessment of Biden's past behavior, particularly his tendency to display physical affection towards women and girls. In the wake of these claims, Biden's interactions have come under intense scrutiny, challenging his public image and raising questions about boundaries. Biden's tactile nature has long been evident, captured extensively on video. Even during solemn occasions, such as Stephanie Carter's husband swearing in as Secretary of Defense in 2015, Biden found moments to touch women, resting his hands on Carter's shoulders and whispering in her ear. While Carter has since defended Biden's actions, similar incidents occurred at other swearing-in ceremonies that year, involving young girls. He placed his hand on Senator Senator Cory Gardner's daughter's hip and gripped Senator Chris Coons' daughter's upper arm, kissing her on the head, all while whispering closely. It seems to be a recurring behavior pattern for him. Biden found himself amid this challenging transition, shifting from the persona of the cool uncle to the unsettling image of the creepy uncle. As vice president, he played a role akin to Obama's uncle figure, guiding him with his wealth of life experiences. However, the vice presidency lacked substantial authority or responsibility, a fact Biden himself acknowledged with some disappointment. In a 2016 interview, he expressed discomfort with the perception of being goofy Uncle Joe. Consequently, what was once seen as harmless affection now appears more questionable in today's context. Similarly, his legislative achievements were overshadowed while playing the role of Obama's wise wingman, but now faces harsh criticism. The appealing aspects of the cool uncle persona are now viewed with skepticism, as he now has greater responsibility.
This morning, new details surrounding those classified documents discovered at President Biden's Delaware home.
On November 2nd, 2022, Biden's legal team made a startling discovery: classified documents hidden away in a locked closet at the Penn Biden Center. Promptly reported to the National Archives and Records Administration, or NARA, the documents, which included sensitive intelligence material and briefing memos on Ukraine, Iran, and the United Kingdom, were swiftly retrieved the following day. Further searches, in collaboration with the Justice Department, or DOJ, unearthed additional classified materials at Biden's residence on December 20th, followed by more discoveries on January 9th and January 12th, 2023. On January 21st, Biden's personal attorney revealed that the DOJ had found 6 items with classification markings during a consensual search at Biden's home, including handwritten notes from his vice presidency. In response, Attorney General Merrick Garland assigned U.S. Attorney John R. Lausch Jr. to conduct a preliminary investigation. Subsequently, Garland appointed Robert K. Hur as special counsel to probe the possible unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or other records. The House Judiciary Committee initiated a separate investigation into the matter the following day.
He appeared to be, an older man who, in some cases had memory lapses.
On February 8th, 2024, the Justice Department unveiled the findings from Special Counsel Hur's investigation, affirming that evidence does not conclusively prove Mr. Biden's culpability beyond a reasonable doubt, thus negating the necessity for criminal charges in the case. Hur's scrutiny of the classified documents discovered both at the Penn Biden Center and the University of Delaware suggested the plausibility of inadvertent placement at these sites. Regarding Afghanistan-related classified materials found in Biden's Delaware garage, Hur's probe failed to ascertain the circumstances surrounding their possession. Additionally, Biden's handwritten notebooks containing classified content were potentially regarded as personal property, in line with historical precedents, akin to President Ronald Reagan's treatment of his diaries. Although Hur acknowledged Biden's dissemination of classified information to his ghostwriter, he could not definitively establish Biden's awareness of the classified nature of the material. In contemplating a trial scenario, Hur envisioned Biden's portrayal as a sympathetic elderly individual with declining cognitive abilities. The report's remarks regarding Biden's memory have ignited significant political debate, with leading publications suggesting that they overshadow the report's conclusion against charging Biden. During a subsequent press briefing, Biden rebuked Hur's assessment of his mental acuity, dismissing it as unnecessary commentary, and affirmed that his memory remains intact. Biden also sharply criticized Hur for supposedly probing into the timing of his son Beau's demise, deeming it unwarranted. However, scrutiny of the interview transcript revealed that Biden himself broached the topic of Beau Biden's passing during his testimony. The DOJ stood by the report, asserting that its content and public dissemination adhered to established DOJ protocols. From the look of things, Biden's blunder machine is still working full speed ahead, but what do you think? Let us know in the comments section. Also, to watch more content just as engaging, click on one of the cards appearing on your screen now.